Hello, this is Kris Nelson for EvolveConsciousness.org. I'll be reading the article, Why is Veganism Important in Awakening and Ending Evil? This was published on the 27th of September 2014. The obviousness of the evil and wrong in non-vegan living, in carnism, is hidden from the perception of most people's minds, despite our direct involvement in what it is. Once someone can see the truth about morality in animals, about something seen and visible in the world that they were not seeing, something obvious we choose to be oblivious to, then maybe they will understand how the more hidden aspects of reality are even less visible to them, and how ignorant they must be of things they cannot see yet. After all, the meat issue was right in front of them in a piece of dead body carcass they bought all the time, but they didn't connect to what was really going on. So we're very dissociated and disconnected from reality. The fact that there are things they can't see that they aren't yet aware of should be an awareness now if it wasn't before. So what I'm saying is, people who recognize the overtness of veganism have the opportunity to recognize how an overt aspect of reality was hidden from their perception and understanding, and how other aspects that are even more hidden and less obvious still exist that they are unaware of and they should learn. So this is about people who recognize an overt, non-hidden, non-occulted aspect of reality, which is the animals, and how you finally realize that thing that was right in front of your face. Well, you have more of a chance of recognizing the need to go into occulted and hidden information apart from the animal issue. Potentially, because there's that connection being made. At least subconsciously. It needs to be brought to the conscious mind that the fact that you can see something right in front of your face that you didn't see before should make you realize that there are things that you're not seeing that aren't even in front of your face that you should look into and find that you're completely unaware of right now. And that's why you need to go on the journey for truth, the knowledge quest, to gain greater aspects of truth and morality. And that's the care for truth, the initial care for truth, to go seeking truth. If non-human animals do indeed matter to natural moral law and our conduct of behavior, then any moral violation against them is always and forever such. That is to say, there are not justifications for immoral action, just as it is for moral considerations to human animals. So if animals matter in any way morally, which most people agree they do, yet they still eat them, then there's no justifications for the immoral action, just as it is for moral considerations for humans. We can't apply contradictory applications of morality for non-humans, because we don't do it to human animals, so we shouldn't do it to non-human animals. Right now we're not living in moral consistency in our behaviors. Then the murder and direct overt enslavement and exploitation brought about against billions of non-human animals each year outweighs all the covert human murders by wars, other humans, murders in generals. It outweighs the billions of murdered animals each year that didn't do us any harm, outweighs all the covert human murders by wars, other human murders in general, and the overall enslavement system of living we all live in to varying degrees that create harm, because it's our system of living that we've created. This artificial system of living is our own doing by our own hands to enslave ourselves. Now, when you enslave others, you have no right to do that. That's called doing harm to others who did you no harm. That's a violation of natural moral law. But harming yourself is a lesser violation of natural moral law. If you create harm for yourself, even if you don't want it, but you do it to yourself, well, you do it to yourself and it's only you to blame. Now, if you're creating harm to others who aren't part of this way of living, who aren't creating this artificial way of living, and this is all other animals, all non-human animals, well, we're doing harm to them when we don't have a right to harm them. They are the greater violation of morality, as opposed to our own violation of violating ourselves. That's a lesser moral violation. Natural law, natural moral law, level 1 is you do not have the right to harm others who did not harm you. All animals on the planet. Natural law level 2 is you do not have a right to harm yourself because it does not further the evolutionary will of creation. So you don't harm yourself. But if you're harming yourself and you're harming another, the first thing you have to do is stop harming another. Then you can work on stopping harming yourself. Because stopping to harm yourself, and then while you continue to harm others, that's wrong. That's an improper correlation of violation. You can harm yourself. You're the only one that can do anything to your own body, even if it's wrong. No one else can do it to you except for yourself. But what you never have a right to do, ever, is harm others, which is what we're doing right now. And people are totally oblivious to this, even in people who are vegans, even in people who are in occulted information, do not understand the importance of veganism in ending evil, and they do not understand the importance in moral levels of alignment. You do not have a right to harm others. You have more of a right to harm yourself than to harm others. Therefore, the greater violation is harm to others, not harm to yourself. We are doing this to ourselves. We created this delusional, bullshit self-enslavement system, and as a result, we're enslaving everyone else that isn't us, that isn't part of this artificial creation of systemic human living where we enslave other beings. No, they didn't do anything to us. We did this to ourselves. They do not deserve what we give them. The first priority is ending evil towards other beings. But people don't want to do that. Why? Because they're so selfish. It's all about my survival, my freedom, and my truth. You see, the animals, they're not going to help you get your freedom, are they? They can't fight for your freedoms. They can't fight for everybody's freedoms. They can't speak. They can't share knowledge. They're not going to get you to. They're not going to unite with you and create a better world. No, you only care about other humans because other humans can help you do that for you. Because we're all in this together. So things are only going to get better when we're all in it together. So the other animals, well, they don't matter in your selfish my survival, my truth, and my freedom. Because the other animals aren't going to help you. Only other humans are going to help you end slavery. So as far as you're concerned, animals don't matter. Oh, well, they matter morally, but they don't matter as much as ending evil against humans, because I want to survive and I want to be free. So that's my truth. And the other animals, well, whatever. You know, they matter morally, but not as much as me. And I need other humans, so I'm going to focus on human issues. Because that matters more. Because only humans can help me end my own enslavement on myself. Because we all enslave ourselves. So we can only do it all together, so I only need humans to help me, right? No non-human animals. They don't matter to help me end my slavery and all of human slavery. No, so we shouldn't focus on getting people to end their unlawful level 1 violation of other beings, even if they want to continue violating their own selves and enslaving themselves. See, this is called priorities in natural law, understanding what you have a right to do and what you don't have a right to do. You don't have a right to harm others, and you do not have a right to harm yourself, but between you harming yourself and someone else harming you, you're the only one that can do it. No one else is allowed to do it. But it's still not a right. You don't have a, oh, I'm just going to kill myself. Yeah, that's my right. Right, that's why you were born, so that you could just kill yourself. Yeah, we all have that right. We're all just going to go execute ourselves. We're all just going to drink some Kool-Aid. That's all our rights. Just to commit suicide. No, you don't have rights to harm yourself. It's the person. Someone else doesn't have the right to harm you. It doesn't mean you have the right to harm yourself. It's your body and you're in control of it. That's it. But it's not like you have the right to harm yourself. It's not a right thing to harm yourself. You're not. The only thing it is it's not a moral violation in harming someone else. That's all. That's why it's natural law level 1, harming another. So you're not harming another? Fine, then you're not violating natural moral law level 1. You're harming yourself? Well, you're still violating natural moral law. It's just you're doing it against yourself, so it's less of a violation. So I hope that this clarifies what levels of morality take place and how harm you do to yourself is less important than harm you do to others who didn't harm you. So when we enslave ourselves as a planet, as a human species, Well, that's secondary to the enslavement and murder we bring upon others. It's very, very clear. Very clear once you think about it. So if you still want to argue with yourself, still want to argue with me, still want to deny it, well, take some time and think about it. Take a day, take a month. Think about it and you'll see the truth. All you have to do is understand morality objectively and let go of your attachment to yourself, other people, your family, to humanity, and putting them above everything else, above truth and morality itself, because I don't. I'm only concerned with truth and morality. Friendship, family, they're all secondary. So I do need to survive and we do need to interact on this planet, but I'm not going to unite in coercion and false unity. I will only interact with people insofar as the current system requires us to interact in order to provide economic survivability so that we do not die. But I am looking for people to truly unite with on a similar level of understanding. And that the most important understanding is the moral baseline, and that is morality for animals. So that's who I'm looking to unite with. Alright, so that's enough of a rant there. I'll continue here. Tell me, are there over 50 billion human animals being murdered each year? No. But over 50 billion non-human animals are. What is the greatest crime? Tacit acceptance of covert human slavery or engagement in overt slavery and murder of another species. You know, the obvious murder of other species or the occulted ways that we enslave ourselves. What's more important? I wonder. If you understand objective morality, it'll be very easy. I just finished explaining it. What's more important and why? What human animals are doing to other human animals pales in gravity compared to what humans are doing to other non-human animals. It's not even close in terms of the gross violations of morality. In terms of seriousness of the crime, to put your own species' self-inflicted suffering above that of the suffering your species creates for other species is something evil and satanic, if not simply arrogant. This is like harming oneself, self-inflicted suffering, and harming others, inflicting suffering to other non-human animal species. You may not ever harm another. That is natural law level 1. If you choose to harm yourself, you are the only one who can, even though you violate your own health and well-being, which is a violation of natural law level 2, but not level 1 of harming others. We may be allowed to keep harming ourselves until we learn, even though it violates level 2 natural law, but we do not, and never have had, the right to harm other beings, which violates level 1 natural law. We can always choose to do anything we want, but a choice is never automatically right, simply because it is a choice of your own free will. A plant is not an animal. Get over it, get grounded, get in touch with reality. Morality is not objective. Morality is not subjective, it is objective. Either humans have moral consideration Either humans have moral consideration or they don't. If they do, it applies all the time, not whenever convenient for you to apply moral concern. So either you have moral concern for beings, or you don't. It's not, oh well, in this case I have concern for them, but in this case I don't. If you want to end evil, you start with the most egregious violations of morality, or end them all at once if you can. If you need to go from one to the other, or if you can end them all at once, so then let's do that. We start with the most egregious ones, and that's the outright exploitation, enslavement, violence, harm, and murder of animals every day, accepted by everyone. We don't accept the rape and murder and violations of other humans, and that's overt. It's hidden, and most people don't see it. But everyone knows what's going on with animals, they just don't want to face it. Do you start with ending all government, money, and other deceptions of enslavement before you end the outright slavery against other races? No, you start with the big things and stop them first. You stop enslaving people from Africa and other places before you worry about your own self-created enslavement in the compliance with government that create your own suffering. Natural law has two levels. Do no harm to others, then do no harm to yourself. So if you're enslaving yourself with your acceptance of government, or you're enslaving other people, well, the most important thing is to stop enslaving other people, and then you can stop enslaving yourself. You have no right to harm others, and that must be stopped instead of essentially ignoring it to focus more on the more personal harm that involves you being harmed in some way by your own actions of allowing it to happen. And that is the system we live in. The same is so of the animal morality issue. You don't go work on all the moral violations that exist that you and others create for yourself. You go and get rid of the egregious violations we do to others first, then you work on how you enslave yourself. First, stop enslaving others, then get yourself and others to change the way you live and no longer enslave yourself. You don't start with the covert, occult, hidden aspects of slavery. You start with what is obvious and visible to the eyes readily. Veganism is the readily visible to the eyes end to evil and slavery, end to the predator-dominator mind virus, at its source, root causal factor. It is the egregious billions of murders each year violation. Other human-on-human violations that we do to ourselves are second in degree and number. We only make them take precedence because of our identification with others, from family to community to country to global, etc. Very few consider the other non-human animals in their circle of identification and not doing harm to, apart from pets, mainly which displays more moral inconsistency in our application of values and principles. That's where, well, some animals are morally protected, such as our pets or animal companions, and the other ones, well, we'll just keep eating them. And that's our moral consistency. We're so integrated in objective morality, yeah. Some we care about not harming, and then the other ones we don't care about harming, and we just eat them. As low-based, carnal, fleshly, animalistic, amoral, beastly retards. Not true humans. Just amoral, lower consciousness, lower self, idiots. And I think I just uncovered the intuitive issue I had with people not talking about veganism, even though they knew of its moral accuracy, as if it was less important than the human evils going on. Now I have brought the feeling to light with logic and hashed out why I was seeing this initially in the background fuzzy darkness of the mind. Some people focus on the personal aspect of their own enslavement, with the human-on-human factor taking precedence in what they talk about. So human wins out over non-human, and the severity and number of the crimes of human on non-human is also diminished in favor of the human-on-human violations of lesser magnitude. I also understand why it is a hard message to talk about, because people really do not want to hear this hardest of hard truths to accept. I also understand more why I have targeted the broad animal enslavement and murder as the root causal factor for our own human-on-human enslavement and murder. I do think it has affected the overall receptivity of the other truths I have to share. I mostly target morality, veganism, mind control psychology, and understanding reality in general. Some people simply reject all the work you do when you speak about morality this deeply. Oh well. What is the goal, really? What is the point of awakening to anything in reality? Isn't it to end all evil? To bring about the true freedom and peace as a result? Or is it to only end specific species slavery, like human slavery, or gorilla slavery, etc., and still have the left hand doing evil against other non-human animals, while the right hand thinks all is good and right with the world, as it doesn't enslave other human animals? If you let people who are carnists remain carnists, they will always be carnists. The desire to seek and live truth, love, good, right morality, is the only thing that can get us to evolve consciousness. People who remain attached to carnism are not embracing the truth and what is moral in life. what is important here in life. You think it's human slavery? No, it's slavery, period. You think it's only human evil? No, it's evil, period. All of it. The only way forward is with people who have true care for truth. Those who only care about humans are still part of the problem of slavery by still engaging in it because they don't want to face the mirror and truth, because they don't care for truth enough. It's that simple. That is the real one true divide. Care for truth. Either you care to go towards more truth and moral ways of living, or you don't, and you enjoy staying right where you are in apathy and fear of truth. The awakening and evolution of consciousness is linked to the cleansing of the body as well as the mind. And I have a link to cleansing the body, the vehicle to evolve consciousness. When we clean our bodies of these undesired substances, we clean our bodies and minds from systemic poisoning, and this helps us to deepen our moral compass and capacity. To think that veganism, doing no harm, no murder or overt enslavement of other non-human animals that is currently accepted as right is less important than the already acceptable slavery of human animals is folly. We are actively engaging in acceptable murder and overt enslavement against innocent life of some species while not having those same behaviors acceptable to human animals. So we're letting harm against non-human animals that we don't allow against human animals. We're not recognizing that we're all animals, even though we're different, and we might be higher in consciousness in some capacities or in the capacity to actualize, but most of us are in lower consciousness because we're doing far more egregious forms of evil than the amoral animals who don't understand morality. We have the capacity to understand morality, and with the great power of our arms and our hands and the ability to artificially create, the power of creation has us in the dual capacities of creating good or evil. It's all up to us what we do. So right now we are not, we're not better than the amoral animals because they don't understand morality, whereas we can, and we're choosing to create greater evils than any of the other animals can create at all. We are powerful evil creation engines, or we can be powerful good creation engines. There is a world of difference in the overt, visible, normalized, acceptable evil being done to other non-human animals compared to the lack of such blatant murder towards other human animals in respective societies. War is another bullshit justification to ignore veganism. But that isn't happening in all countries. While the animal holocaust and evil is continuing across the board and hasn't stopped for thousands of years. So you want to say that war, we got to focus on human war and how humans are killing themselves. Yeah, but you're ignoring the Holocaust and the war on animals that's been going on for thousands of years. So again, you're ignorant. You just want to focus on yourself, on human war, on human suffering, because it's all about my survival, my freedom, and my truth. And your little limited circle of identification with only humans, because it's only humans you can do harm to, and it's only humans that matter if harm is done. The animals, no, you're not harming them. They don't. They're just like plants, and plants feel, so we can harm animals that feel because they're just like plants. All these other retarded things people come up with. Wars have rest periods as well. You have a war and then it stops. Then you'll have another war and then it lasts for a certain amount of time and then it stops. This Holocaust on animals does not stop. And that's one of the big differences people need to understand. It's been going on for a long time. This is egregious evil we're doing. Cleansing the body helps to evolve consciousness. It is a bonus to being more moral. The real reason you do it is to be more moral. And it will help you evolve consciousness as a bonus. Do you want to know how you can really test someone's care for truth? Talk to them about veganism and morality for animals and see whether they accept the vegan truth of doing no harm to other sentient animate beings because we don't need to and don't have the right to do it. Those who have awakened the initial care for truth will honestly question themselves and their current way of living instead of rejecting a moral truth through ignorance. And I have a link at the bottom to Veganism is not the United Nations or New Agers. And this was a note I'd written before that one that I had published, which has some overlying concepts to clear up some misconceptions people have. So that's the end of that. Thank you for your time and attention. Have a nice day. Take care. Peace.